when I'm going out, when I was living in Michigan and I was working and everything, I wore blue jeans. Most of the time I would wear blue jeans. I'd wear my freaking Red Wing work boots, and I had a gun on, and I'm wearing a flannel shirt in the wintertime, and that was what I wore. And you want to know the reason why? My entire adult working life, that was what I wore to work. Something like that. In the Navy, I wore dungarees, right? When I got out of the military and went to work as a technician places, I was supposed to be wearing collared shirts, right? Because I'm a tech. You know what I mean? So I'm representing. So I'm wearing a collared shirt. I'm wearing, when I first started, you had to wear slacks, Dockers or something like that. And then they eventually said, no, you can wear jeans. They just got to be in good repair. No stains and stuff like that. So I got to where I was wearing jeans and a button-up shirt or a collared shirt, like a polo or something. And it just got to be, I wore that all the time, even on the weekends. If I was going out somewhere, I'd dress for the occasion. But if we were going out to the movies or some shit, I wore the same stuff like I was going to work. Why? It's what I got, man. I wear this fucking 80 hours a week already, On the weekends, if it was summertime, I wear shorts. But I didn't wear a ton of t-shirts. In the summertime I wore t-shirts. But spring and winter, fall in Michigan, man, I wore shirts with sleeves. It don't matter, man. And I know people looked at me as I was a fucking redneck, because I often, in the wintertime, I wore a freaking crushed felt freaking drover hat. Keep the snow, wind, and fucking rain out of my shit. And as I said, and I'd carry a gun. So they look at me like fucking redneck. Yeah, whatever, man. As I get in the car and listen to metal, fucking rap, whatever. I don't give a shit. Whatever I was in the mood for. Call me whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. And I've known dudes that wore. It's been a while because, well, I'm old. But the big thing for a long time was wearing them baggy ass pants, right? And they'd wear the freaking Timberlands or fucking cat fucking work boots, right? Which I always thought was hilarious, because them motherfuckers are expensive, and they always looked like they just took them out the box. And it's like, okay, well, that's why my Red Wings, man, they're nice. They're fucking Packers. They come up kind of like combat boots. But they're scuffed. They got some, they're taken care of. They're polished and everything. But you can tell I wear them all the damn time. Them other ones, the dudes I'd see wearing that shit, it literally looked like they just took them out the box. And they'd wear the freaking they'd wear a shirt that, they normally wear an XL, right? And they're wearing a 4 or 5 XL shirt. And it's like, motherfucker, I know how much that motherfucking shirt costs. I know you could buy one in your size. But they don't want to. Yeah, and again, I was of an age that, yeah, I'm not dressing that way. But if you wanted to dress that way, that's fine. I don't care. And when I was working for employers, I had employers that we had guys that came to work for them that would dress that way, and my employer would say, "Hey, man, you can't wear that. You can wear the boots, and you can wear the pants. You can't wear that big ass shirt." Well, what do you mean? It doesn't look good for the company. It look, the other two are a style thing. The big giant shirt, it's a safety hazard because you got all that extra shit hanging out to get caught and stuff. But the other one is, it's not putting forth a clean look for the company, and you're on the company's clock. Yep. Well, eventually the company I was working for at the end there, they went out and bought all the technicians' company shirts. And they said, if you were working in the lab, you didn't have to wear the shirts. If you were going to a customer site, you had to wear the shirt. You're a company representative. You wear the company shirt. What are you going to say? They are absolutely right. I'm showing up in a vehicle that's got their name on it. I'm hauling around a bunch of equipment with their stuff, and these people are paying a shitload of money to have me here. All right, I'll put on your shirt. And then it basically came down to they gave all the technicians shirts. It just basically came down to everybody wore the shirt all the time anyway, because why fuck up my clothes? If I get something on this shirt, you know, from work, grease or something that won't come out, the company will just give me a new shirt when I give them the one that's fucked up. You know, if I get some millennium grease or something on it, you ain't getting that off. Or you go to one of these places that's got freaking covered in brake dust. Yeah, you're not getting that out. They'll tell you to hang on to that shirt and wear that next time you go. You know, but they'll give you another shirt. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Well, you know, and here's the other thing I think it comes down to. There's not a lot of veterans out there. When you were in the military, but no matter what branch you were, you could have been fucking Air Force, whatever. You were taught when you wore your uniform, you wore the uniform. There was one way to wear the uniform, with some minor variations. You know, you could have your sleeves down on your BDUs, or you could have your sleeves rolled up. But if you rolled your sleeves up, they had to be rolled up a certain way. Navy and the Army did it one way. The Air Force and the Navy and the Marine Corps did it one way. The Army and the Air Force did it some fucked up way that I still haven't figured out how they did it. So that they could turn that shit down and it was all camo, whatever. You know, but you wore the uniform, and nobody said boo if your shit was fucked up and a corporal or something said, "Hey, fix your shit." You didn't get mad, you got embarrassed because you weren't wearing your shit right. Well, in the workplace, you're at work. You present a look of yourself. Now, if they give you a uniform, you need to wear the uniform. But if you didn't, you still need to present a business-like appearance. You are a professional. Be professional. Well, I don't care what you are. Are you getting paid? Well, yeah, you are a professional. You're a professional pizza delivery guy. Look professional. Do you think the dude that shows up wearing shorts, flip-flops with socks, with fucking a stained freaking t-shirt that's untucked gets more or less tips than the dude that shows up with a smile on his face, looks clean and clean shit with his shit tucked in and looking nice? Which one do you think gets more tips? You know? Yeah. Exactly. Doesn't smell of fucking weed, you know? I'm not saying don't smoke, but yeah, you smile when you show up to the door. You get much more money that way than you are if you show up, and you get more pussy that way too, because I know, than you do if you show up looking like a dirtbag. Mm-hmm. Yup. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is you're hurting the company you're working for, because the people who are at those parties are the people who hire that catering. So they're not going to hire I don't want to hire them, man. Did you see that those workers they had? And they may have only been talking about you, but they'll say those workers. I don't want them at my place. They don't look good. No, I don't want. Or they look dirty, and that's going to equate to they were dirty, and then everything was dirty. But and you can't. And again, we started this whole thing off this way. That's not to say that they're not being judgmental. They absolutely are. But why are they doing it? Because that's what they experienced. You know what I mean? They experienced that. But you said you showed up, you're clean, you got your hair cut, you got your your uniform's all good, you're mostly articulate. And they're engaging. How many other them, and you never knew when one of those dudes was going to be somebody who goes, you know what, I'm looking for a chef for my fucking yacht. Yeah, and again, but the thing that gets me on that is don't complain, right, that people are treating you bad because they're racist or they're, what else would it be? Or they look down on me because I'm whatever. You gotta gauge your audience, man. Yep. Phoenix is transgender? Oh. I'm like, what? How can you fucking tell he's through? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. Again, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, hey, Dad, I'm transgender. Okay. And did you have the conversation with him? Are you actually transgender, or are you just gay? I mean, and in this day and age, and for me that sounds like a realistic conversation, because your life as a transgender is going to be much more difficult than it would be in this day and age as just being a gay man. Not to mention, the suicide rate amongst gay people is not nearly as high as the suicide rate amongst transgender. It's incredible. It's like 48% of transgenders commit suicide, and the number doesn't really change pre or post op. You know what I mean? So that's scary shit. When I was in SoCal, I knew quite a few, and are you the only one on here? Yeah. My first, you know what? I can't say nothing. I'm broadcasting. Let me stop the broadcast.